have
Jim
it as
Wood, Jimmy's dad. Yeah, believe it or not, Jim Wood. So I always loved building my own motorcycles, and let's just put it this way, I've learned. My dad was high attention to detail, and he built good motorcycles, but the attention to detail is slightly different than taking apart every single bolt and polishing and CAD plating and Cerakoting and doing all that. And when I first moved to California, Jimmy Wood, Jim's son, had said, "Hey, my parents have an extra bedroom at their place, and it would be a perfect spot for you because I basically needed a place to like get my feet landed. Like I have a trailer, I have a van, I want to move to Southern California. I need to be here, but I don't really know where I'm going to go." So I went out there, and he had a motor building shop in his shop. And do you guys know Jim at all? Jim Senior?
No, not Jim Senior.
Okay, he is Brunt. Okay, he's nice. Brunt, and type of stuff. Like first of all, he's soft and kind, and I love him. So like, there's that. But he would also be the guy who would be like, he built some hot shit motor for someone, and the someone would kind of be like, "So I heard so-and-so's got whatever, you built him whatever, like, is this thing good?" I'm like, "Yeah, good enough for who it's for." He just, that in a nutshell is like the type that he is. So like I would, he would get these 450 Hondas, 02 to 08 450 Hondas, all from the Inland Empire, and these things were the roachiest of roach. And he just had a formula. He'd take the bike in, he'd take it all apart, and this is where we differ. He was a service manager at Chaparral. He's built 1 million Honda 450 motors. One tote. He just take it apart and throw every part of the entire motorcycle in one box.
I couldn't do it.
Like no separation, no this is motor, this is just everything. And I remember almost getting anxiety the first time I saw him do it because I was like, "Hey, like bolt lengths, like whatever." He's like, "No, it's fine." He's like, "Things are designed to go together a certain way." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, there's only one way it's going to go together." And I was just like, "Okay, guy, whatever." Like, good luck. Well, he was right because he would Scotch-Brite the frames, and then he would get stuff from this radiator shop that you spray, and it kind of makes this bright silver aluminum, and then he would bead blast the cases, and then he would send out stuff for powder coating, and then he would turn down hardware on the lathe, and I was just like, okay, this is like exceptionally finite detail work. But if he needs to slap something together at the racetrack, you know what I mean, and just hammer the quick change and whatever, he's got no problem just grinding it out. But in the workshop, he was just very particular. "Oh, we're going to WPC coat every single internal in the entire motor, and we're going to weld the crankshaft pin in this one," and just all this super finite work. And he would watch me and just poke at me for like being too OCD in some areas and not enough in others. Yeah. Or I'd like spend a whole bunch of time packing a bearing. He's like, "Waste the time." I'm like, "Okay, so some areas all the time, some areas not." And he kind of like, I went from like race bike building, body work and parts, to like, oh, take it apart like for real. Like, let's take this thing all the way apart. And I have to like organize all my stuff. But the thing that it taught me is I know what he means now by like, it goes together. It just goes together a certain way, because actually, if you were an engineer, an M5 that's this long with thread pitch X going into aluminum should only have a certain torque value, and you're not going to find that piece of hardware on the lower lug of a fork. So he's just meaning like the way that Honda engineers things, they put things in specific areas because they're engineered and designed to need that. Like you're only going to find short well, M6 nuts specifically in areas that is like not, accessory style case cover sides. Like you're not going to find anything with a short thread count on a center case, but you will on side cover. So instead of being like, "Well, I need to know the measurement of every bolt to know where it came from," he's like, "No, you don't. You just need to look at the task at hand. see what parts you have, and you will eventually, you do it long enough, you'll understand how things go together. So that was a mindset change, because like, oh, okay, things should go together a certain way. Now you can totally do it wrong. There's like, I've done plenty of it. I've done plenty of stuff wrong a bunch of times, but it mentality wise changed. And then guys like Roland Sands and seeing that, you know, what they've come out of their side and the fabrication work of Aaron Boss and just, you know, these builders that I've seen who I didn't know the names of for a long time, and then move to California and know the names of and just see the level of proficiency that these guys have, was really like, wow, there's even more levels to this game. And then it just continued. And I like having nice stuff. You know, I really I like bringing something up that even if you have the same model as me,
it's not
you're like,
Dang.
wow, I like that. You know, there's something to be said. I
love
kind of
that.
like that.
I don't have the patience you have.